Yeah, good evening, everyone. So my pleasure to introduce our two last guests. We have David Tozzo and Lorenzo Fattori. David Tozzo is an activist, politician, and writer. He writes for Huffington Post, and his next book is The Inevitability of the Equality for Lewis in University Press next June. Then we have Lorenzo Fattori, which is a doctor of social sciences in a university, so in a business organization. He holds a position as a student union, and at the same time is also part of the national board of Articolo Uno party. So welcome to our guests, and we start with the first question towards Lorenzo. Lorenzo, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, great. Hi. Yeah, my question is about the public debate in Italy about fake news and freedom of press. I would like to say that today we are happy because Italy has risen 17 places in the world press freedom. So there was the news yesterday, and I would like Lorenzo to talk about that today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a very nice discussion, a very interesting discussion. But about this, it's a good day for Italy. But still, we are at the 41st position in this classification, and so we're very. We're not so close to the great European democracies that should be our point of reference. So when thinking about the public debate in Italy, we have first of all to be aware of how the Italian publishing market is structured. A great difference from the great European democracies is that we have a specificity. We have the absence of the so-called pure publishers behind the great Italian newspapers. These are owned by 3-4 large families or companies that have interest in multiple market sectors and even in politics. We all know the case of Berlusconi. It's the best known case in the years of its greatest power. He controlled 3 television channels, the main Italian newspaper, Corriere della Sera, and various other newspapers and periodicals. But there is another example, a recent example, the acquisition by the Agnelli family, the Agnelli of Fiat, the group of La Repubblica, second Italian newspaper. This marked a violent change in the editorial line, with also the replacement of the director of Repubblica. And they moved La Repubblica from its traditional cultural location in an area close to democratic socialism towards a stand more in favor of the economic and industrial choices of its new publishers. So those are 2 examples, but what I want to say is that even before fake news, the Italian public debate is channeled by large economic and political groups, and they use newspapers and also televisions, of course, as their armed wing. Furthermore, we should consider that the quality of press in Italy is influenced also by the working conditions of journalists that are not good, because the workforce is reduced. Even in the greatest groups, the workforce is reduced and the contracts are mostly fixed term. So we can really expect to have a big quality of the press in this situation. This is even before the fake news. After we have the beginning of the spreading of fake news, the ACCOM, the Italian Privacy Authority, points out that since 2016, the spread of fake news has grown significantly, and its peaks are around the elections. Also, the COVID pandemic has acted like a major boost for misinformation. Furthermore, a research on a review of sociology and communication shows that the bulk of fake news are posted and retweeted, because you know Twitter is one of the most used channels, always among the same kind of users, the supporters of far-right ideologies and also supporters of anti-immigration politics. This brings us to the last theme that I want to point out, a theme that has been discussed before, the populism. There is a great debate around populism in Italy. I go straight to the point. I don't think we are a populist country. Also, I think Nadia Urbinati, a great political scientist, is right when she says that this word is sometimes abused, because in the Italian debate, populism is used by centrist politicians to indicate what they don't like. This is another part of the Italian public debate that is collocated around a specific political area, mainly. That said, the connection between the spread of fake news, the misfunctioning of the Italian public debate, and the point where I want to arrive, the political system, the voting choices, there is a research, more than one research really, on voting behavior of the suburbs that shows that voting towards the parties that are called populist and all that are also the parties around, we can find the people that share fake news. This choice of vote follows the fault line in society. So this vote is strongest where there is more poverty and unemployment. So, in conclusion, Italy is a country of growing inequalities and poverty. And this is the fuel for extremism, both in politics, in voting, and also in public debate. This is the question for me.
Thank you for your intervention, Lorenzo. Actually, I would like to pick a part of our last, let's say, of the last news from Italy regarding the banishment of ChatGPT, which, as you might have heard, is everywhere, basically. And I think it's been a really courageous initiative by the Italy Data Protection Authority. And that's when I try to put the bridge between the first intervention of Lorenzo with David. David, this is a question for you about ChatGPT, this artificial intelligence. As these restrictive measures have been put in place, and I think 2 days ago it's been relieved after a GDPR compliance review. Well, could it be regarded as a restriction of freedom of opinion? What do you think about this? What can you enlighten us?
Whoa, that's a long shot to try to compress everything, but I'll try. First of all, hi. I believe these panels are of extraordinary relevance because together with the education, it's causing information is one of the most important aspects, if not the most important aspect of the public life of the public. Of us all citizens. Now, before everything, populist information. Populism, as I had the chance to learn about in our past encounter, is a word that has been very much abused. I liked when Lorenzo mentioned the political scientist saying that it's a word used often by people to define something that they just don't like. So it is abuse in this sense. The word has its root in the people. So Information was much different a long time ago. Basically, we can recognize, it's important to start from this point, 4 stages. Stage 0, when there was no information. We're talking 12,000 years ago. Stage 1, word of mouth and myths. Stage 2, institutional unidirectional information. And stage 3, the current one, social networking information, which is the most resembling the people kind of information, the most populist information. One of the main motivations or levers of fake news, because of course, ultimately, what is bad is what is fake, whether that comes from an ancient legend, an obsolescent institution, or a brand new smartphone, is ignorance. Therefore, profit, whether power profit or economic profit, and ignorance. So the answer to this is not to stop the networks or to stop ChatGPT. I'll get there in a second. The means, you cannot stop the means, you cannot stop artificial intelligence. The answer is, together with regulation, because we can't keep on making, the surveillance capitalism big mistake, the original sin. No rules. GAFAM like Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple can do whatever the hell they want. The answer is regulation and then good education through information. So ChatGPT today, or artificial intelligence in general, the new challenge is what I just hinted, AI, artificial intelligence. Already today, we're seeing what artificial intelligence means. So we are seeing not only articles written by ChatGPT. The one that I wrote on Huffington Post was not written on ChatGPT, I promise. But not only articles, scientific articles are being written, medical scientific articles are being written with artificial intelligence. And you know what is disturbing? That it's not hidden. In many scientific papers nowadays, already at the bottom of the page, together with the specialists, with the scientists, with the doctors, in broad daylight, you see among the authors, ChatGPT or whichever else, chatbot. It is written. They don't even hide it. So news, I was reading this morning on La Repubblica, one of the main newspapers that has been mentioned before, that there have been, protests in Colombia against some fiscal reforms proposed by the government that have turned deadly. Especially after the uncovering these days of some police special forces brutality that have been going on in 2019, 2021, and 2023. A picture in particular made the tensions literally like skyrocket and explode like SpaceX. And that's a picture of a young lady taken away by the brutal police. And this has caused uproar, like widespread outrage and violence and deaths. And answering to this, rapes by the state police and whatnot. You know what's incredible about that picture that enraged so many people? That picture is fake. That picture, that moment does not exist. It was created by artificial intelligence and caused deaths and so on. And even more incredible, even more disturbing, you know who made that picture, who spread it? Not a dangerous dictator or some corrupted coup or whatever. Amnesty International made it. Of course, the intent was perhaps different. They wanted to highlight police brutality, but they did something fake, which for me, to begin with, it is a no. It is a red flag. It is a no-go. And, to add to the outrage, my outrage in this case, it has caused disaster. So the risk, the biggest risk that I want to report to this panel is that reality and artificial reality, fake reality, will or are at risk of blurring, blending together, and become indistinguishable from one another. Fake reality is the ultimate fake news. The risk is not even that dictators can spread false information to divert people from for political gain, not even that private can create an artificial metaverse, like Meta, to trap people for economical gain. But without wanting to do a Philip Dick here, but when everything becomes unreal and unrecognizable, and these players fight over our heads for ultimate power, not understanding themselves what is real anymore, that's pure chaos. That's a true nuclear option. Now, we are not there yet, and perhaps we will never be. We are at the earliest step of this that I described. Artificial intelligence chatbots faking it between themselves for ultimate predominance. But the answer to all of this is truth. Proving that real intelligence is more effectively, certainly more essential than artificial one. And this is crucial because this has not been, spoken about enough, that everything is at risk of blending together. And then, we will have the ultimate fake news. Because, when you have fake news, at some point, people power and social networking and numbers, okay, numbers of common sense, of good reason, can, determine and denounce and label, tag what is fake. But when we will lose, if we will lose, the conscience, the understanding of what is fake and what is not, well, then that is the true risk. That is the ultimate risk. So regulation, we need to apply rules. We didn't apply rules, as I mentioned, for surveillance capitalism, like Shoshana Zuboff in her masterpiece denounced. And so they stole our compartmental surplus, our data, basically, and did everything. They did Trump, they did Brexit, all these things. I don't have all the time to mention everything. Now we don't risk that they do that anymore. We risk much more. We risk everything. So regulation and truth, that is the answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David, for the inspiring speech. Just for an announcement for the Italian speakers or any person who wants to join, afterwards there will be the session with all the groups from Italy. I give the opportunity to maybe give some questions, some last questions I see here. Advocacy to political parties for regulation. It's from Alvaro Alcalde. So what do you recommend for regular citizens, especially offline actions, not just digital advocacy to political parties for regulation? That's the question. For what's real or fake? Just to check what's real or fake, what do you recommend for regular citizens, especially offline actions, not just digital?
Yeah, well, I'm reading it right now, and the question continues, and at the end, it ends like advocacy to political parties. Why not shorten it? Like, this is a step more. You, citizen, advocate to some member of a political party to advocate to the government. Why don't you cut one step? And why don't you join a political party? And I'm not saying my political party, so this is not advertising. This is not fake news. I'm just saying, why don't you get involved personally? So I believe that the best way to take action is taking action. The best way to do advocacy is advocate yourself. The best people to push, the best way to push is you push yourself. You don't expect others to do that for you. So you don't say, hey, political party, could you please do this, in the government? No, you join a political party, and political parties, like free organizations, are a wonderful thing. Participation is key. Uniting is key. Getting involved is key. Being a part of something is key. On the other hand, not being personally involved for whatever reason. I don't care about the reason. Like economical reasons, personal reasons, family reasons, I don't care. But getting involved in first place with your own face, that's the answer. So to sum it up, what do you recommend? I recommend yourself.